Today, we are checking out the complete history of Kamen Rider from 1971 to 2024. If you enjoy this video, click the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. That way you can check out more of my Kamen Rider related content, okay? And hopefully we can bring my build reactions over here to YouTube. I did start watching a series and it is Build. I'm 8 episodes into it, watching more as time goes on. But yeah, so if you want to check that out, you can join the Patreon if you're interested.
Why is Kamen Rider so legendary?
Good question. Yo, Rider Man really is the only showing off part of his
Kamen
face.
Rider series to 2024's Kamen Rider Gavv, the Kamen Rider franchise has built an incredible legacy and a rich history within Japan and throughout the entire world. This video will cover every single Kamen Rider series throughout history, as well as other major milestones in the franchise like movies, games, and even American adaptations. So if you want a video that you can show to people who don't know what Kamen Rider is, or if you just want to take an entertaining walk with me through the complete history of this legendary franchise, this is the video for you. To tell the story of the Kamen Rider franchise, we first have to go all the way back to 1938, where a young child named Shotaro Onodera was born in the town of Tome in Miyagi Prefecture, Japan. Shotaro would take on the name Ishinomori, and he showed a lot of creativity and a talent for creating characters from a young age. He showcased his abilities in various manga competitions throughout his childhood before he would eventually create a character named Skullman that would of course go on to become
Holy moly.
Kamen Rider.
Low-key Skullman kind of became Kamen Rider and Shocker, right? That uniform is very Shocker-esque with the skeleton, sort of like the black with the white lines. Kind of inspired both.
That would of course go on to become Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider is perhaps best known for featuring young adult men that become cyborgs and transform into armored superheroes with a theme of grasshoppers and other insects, although this is loosened up a lot over.
That one looks hard, bro. Whoa. This is why I got to do the villains. The reason why I haven't done the villain compilation is because I don't want to get spoiled for Build. I'm watching Build right now. There's already 2 villains in it, kind of. One's kind of a villain, one's kind of not. But there's obviously, hold on, I got this. Night Rogue, that's a villain. And then Bloodstock, he's like kind of a villain, but also maybe not. I feel like he's like, he just wants to do his own thing. That's how I feel about him. Because I don't think he wants to help Kamen Rider, but also he kind of fucks over Night Rogue a lot. I don't know. He's a tough one for me.
Time, and in the modern age, not all series feature this bug theme. In fact, most don't.
Yeah.
There are 3 eras of Kamen Rider, and these coincide with the eras of Japan's history. These eras are known as the Showa era, spanning from 1926 to 1989, the Heisei era, spanning from 1989 to 2019, and the Reiwa era, which spans from 2019 through the present day.
Oh, wow. Reiwa eras. Very new.
In 1971, Kamen Rider was born with the iconic original series, starring 2 main protagonists in Takeshi and Hayato, as they would take on Shocker and later Gel Shocker. Unlike modern-day seasons of Kamen Rider, this series ran for a whopping 98 episodes. And we would start with the story of Takeshi Hongo, a college student who was turned into a cyborg by Shocker, but they were unable to fully convert his mind, and he would rebel and battle against them.
Yeah.
While filming a motorcycle stunt, Takeshi Hongo's actor Hiroshi Fujioka was injured and had to be replaced. They would replace him by Hayato Ichimonji, played by Takeshi Sasaki, and eventually they would join forces together, becoming the iconic Double Riders. This series set iconic tropes, such as Kamen Rider being a cyborg fighting an evil organization, and of course his preferred method of transportation, his rider machine Cyclone. To say that this series was iconic and legendary would be a huge understatement.
Very much iconic and legendary. Then V3, okay, dude.
In 1973, Toei would follow up the success of Kamen Rider with Kamen Rider V3, a direct sequel, featuring returning characters from Kamen Rider. In this series, Shiro Kazami wants to be a cyborg in order to avenge his family that he saw being killed by Destron. He becomes mortally wounded while risking his life to protect the Double Riders, so in return they turn him into Kamen Rider V3. This series features Joji Yuki, also known as Rider Man, played by Takahisa Yamaguchi, who has one of the most unique rider suit designs in the franchise, being that his mouth is exposed through his helmet.
Yep,
Our
he's the only one.
Shiro is played by Hiroshi Miyauchi, who also played Owl Ranger in Go Ranger, Big One in Jaka, and Chief Counselor Naoyuki Miura in O Ranger, plus multiple...
I don't even know what he just said. He said Owl Ranger, which means Blue Ranger. He was a Blue Ranger in Power Rangers, I guess.
...seasons of the Metal Hero franchise. This guy is a Toku legend. As far as V3 suit design, it was a natural evolution from the looks of the Double Riders, featuring more red and a slightly more detailed design.
Yeah, I like V3's design. All right.
1974 was the year of Kamen Rider X, where our main protagonist Keisuke and his father were betrayed by Keisuke's fiancée in order to assist God, the government of darkness, leading Keisuke and his father to become mortally wounded. Keisuke's father, who was a robotics expert, turned Keisuke into a Kaizorg, also known as X-Rider or Kamen Rider X, in order to save his life. In this series, Keisuke starts as an easygoing character with the optimism of somebody that's about to get married. But all that is ripped away from him, and he turns into a machine of pure precision and focus.
Also, the lady he was about to marry betrays him.
His helmet is meant to look like a skull, and his helmet definitely has a look that calls back to the Skullman manga created by Shotaro Ishinomori. Due to competition from anime on TV at the time, the show had lower ratings than the studio had hoped, and it only lasted
interesting.
Anime on TV at the time.
Due to competition from anime on TV at the time, it had lower ratings.
The show had lower ratings than the studio had hoped, and it only lasted 35 episodes. Also in 1974, we had Kamen Rider Amazon. This is the shortest Kamen Rider series ever, and one of the most violent. This show follows Daisuke, who was lost in the Amazon as a child. He was raised by wild animals before eventually being adopted by an Incan tribe. Nearly his entire village would be killed by Golgos, but not before an elder in the tribe performs a ritual to give him the power to become Kamen Rider Amazon.
Oh, interesting. So he gets his powers through a tribe. Kind of Black Panther-esque.
This was an incredibly iconic.
It's an inherited power from a tribe?
Kamen Rider with a helmet design and a suit design that had never been seen before. This was the first rider to not use a belt to henshin, and the first Kamen Rider series since the original to not have any previous riders returning. This is also the very last main Kamen Rider series that did not have a Sentai season air alongside it.
Oh, wow. So after this, Kamen Rider always had a Sentai series airing alongside it, the Power Rangers airing alongside it.
1975 saw the release of Kamen Rider Stronger, which was originally planned to be the final Kamen Rider series. This show follows Shigeru Jo, whose best friend and mentor Goro is killed by Black Satan. Because of this, Shigeru lets himself get turned into a cyborg or Kamen Rider Stronger.
Okay.
He meets Yuriko, also known as Electronic Wave Humanoid Tackle, or Denpa Ningen Tekud, who is also a cyborg created by Black Satan. Ningen Tekud, who is also a cyborg created by Black Satan. And together they would battle Black Satan and later the Delzer Army. Electronic Wave Humanoid Tackle isn't technically a Kamen Rider, but she definitely has the look of one, especially the ones from the early Showa era, and she is bug-themed, with Tackle's motif being a ladybug, and she was even created by Black Satan in the same way as Stronger.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the actress Kyoko Okada, who played Electronic Wave Humanoid Tackle, passed away at the age of 27 due to an asthma attack. Shigeru was played by Shigeru Araki, who also passed away in 2012 of pneumonia.
Yo, dead at 27 is so sad. Oh, I hate hearing about people dying young. It's so sad.
This was meant to be called Kamen Rider Spark, but that was trademarked in Japan. However, this would have been a really fitting name due to the show's focus on electricity. And this was the very first Kamen Rider series to have a temporary power-up for the main rider, that being Stronger's Charge Up form.
Kamen Rider.
4 whole years later, the Kamen Rider fandom would be introduced to Sky Rider. This was meant to be a reboot of the original Kamen Rider series after the franchise had been off of TV for 4 whole years.
Interesting.
Hence the name and similar suit design to Kamen Rider Ichigo. This show would revisit classic themes and tropes from the first 2 Kamen Rider series. In Sky Rider, we follow Hiroshi Tsukuba as he battles Neo Shocker. Eventually, the idea of this being a reboot was phased out over time, and classic Kamen Riders would appear, tying this into the continuity of the rest of the era.
Good idea.
With a name like Sky Rider, this series was very focused on flight. However, this was also phased out over time, and as far as I can tell, this was because Shotaro Ishinomori was unhappy with the flight special effects, i.e. he didn't like how it looked when Sky Rider was flying around.
I don't blame him. It does not look great.
In 1980, we were introduced to Kamen Rider Super 1. Our protagonist, Kazuya,
Dang, yeah, this is the big old bike. Yeah, I remember seeing this
program in the United States. So
in
he can
one
be
of
an
the
astronaut who doesn't need a spacesuit to survive in
Henshin
space.
videos and stuff.
Unfortunately, before he can make it to space, the base where his operation is being performed is attacked by the Dogma Kingdom, with everyone else being killed.
Oh, cool.
He goes to Japan and is trained by a martial arts expert named Master Ginkai, who teaches him how to henshin into Super 1. This show featured multiple types of interchangeable hands with different strengths and elements, and this functioned as a prototype version of
interchangeable
the form
hands
that we see today.
Oh, cool. That kind of like established the form switching stuff.
In 1984, Toei released a one-off special titled Birth of the 10th Kamen Riders All Together, and this was the introduction of Ryo Murasame, also known as Kamen Rider Z-Cross. Ryo was a pilot who was attacked by a UFO while with his sister before being kidnapped by the Badan Empire.
Attacked by a UFO?
With his memory erased, he does their bidding before quickly regaining his memory and escaping. He learns of the other riders that came before him, and they would team up together. Although this is only a special, Z-Cross is considered the 10th rider and often represented as a season retroactively. This special marks the final unhenshined appearance of Shiro Kazumi, also known as Kamen Rider V3, Joji Yuki, also known as Riderman, and Kazuya Oki, also known as Kamen Rider Super 1.
Oh, wow. No, these are the final appearances of them? Aw. Or specifically those actors playing them.
1987 saw the release of one of the most popular and loved series in the history of the Kamen Rider franchise in Kamen Rider Black. This is a legendary entry marked by a dark tone, a gritty look, and a
Kamen
very
Rider
emotional
Black is
story.
so hard,
This
bro.
show is a drama in the fullest sense. Black introduces us to Kotaro Minami, who is portrayed masterfully by Tetsuo Kurata, and he delivers a heavy and impactful performance where you're gonna feel the agony that he feels during his fight against Shadow Moon and the Gorgon.
Oh, shit.
It was around this time that the look of Kamen Riders in general started to change a little bit. The helmets became a little less bulky, and the armor started looking a little more like armor instead of cloth. The aesthetics here and the tone would remain influential to future iterations of Kamen Rider for years to come.
Cool. Yo, I really like the black design. It is so cool. It just looks so good, dude. I don't know what to say.
In 1988, after the success of Kamen Rider Black, the executives at Toei agreed to go ahead with a sequel entitled Kamen Rider Black RX. In this series, Minami Kotaro returns, and he refuses an offer to join the Crisis Empire. Because of this, he's thrown into the sun, where he would become Kamen Rider Black RX.
He's thrown into the sun? Okay.
This show is notable for featuring Rider-On, which was a red car instead of Kamen Rider's signature motorcycle. And this was also the first show to introduce form switching into the franchise officially.
Then we had this movie.
1992 was an absolutely packed year for the Kamen Rider franchise, featuring Shin Kamen Rider Prologue, a film celebrating the 20th anniversary of the franchise. Because this was 20 years later, this film was meant to attract fans of the original series that had now grown into adults, and that's why the film was a lot darker and more violent. Our protagonist here is Shin Kazamatsuri, who is fused with grasshopper DNA against his will, leading him to fight against the Institute of Super Science, or ISS. Shotaro Ishinomori originally planned for him to be called Kamen Rider Gaia, with a more traditional look, but later on they changed this to Kamen Rider Shin and gave him a suit that was more biological and insect-like. Ishinomori himself even appears in this movie as a spy.
Interesting.
Also in 1993, we had the release of Kamen Rider on the Super Famicom. This was a game based on
the
the original Kamen Rider series, released 20 years after the show that it's based on. It was a beat-em-up style game, allowing two players to play as Kamen Rider Ichigo and Nigo respectively. This game made it possible for a new generation to experience the universe of the original Kamen Rider series, and you can even play it with a friend.
Okay.
Rounding out a huge 1993 was Ultraman vs. Kamen Rider, a TV special featuring mini clips and interviews with the people involved from both shows, where we have Kamen Rider growing into a giant to fight alongside Ultraman.
Oh, is that Ultraman's thing? He always grows giant?
This was a small project, but fans in 1993 welcomed it, and it kept the spirits of these legendary Toku characters alive and well.
Kamen Rider J!
1994 was the year of Kamen Rider J, the first rider to be able to grow into a giant. Koji Segawa is a photographer who is killed while attempting to protect his little sister named Kana. He's thrown over a cliff and Kana is
growing
captured.
to a giant.
The Earth Spirits resurrect Koji, and he becomes Kamen Rider J,
the
who
Earth
is assisted
Spirits
by his aide Barry. J is played by Yuta Mochizuki, who also played Geki in Zyuranger.
Is that an X-Rider? Oh, Masked Rider.
1995 would live in infamy with Saban's Masked Rider, one of the largest blemishes on the resume of Kamen Rider.
I have traveled a vast distance from the planet Edenoi.
Huh?
After the success of Power Rangers during the 90s, Saban and Toei decided to team up in order to bring Kamen Rider to the English-speaking world. This resulted in what is widely considered to be one of the worst adaptations of all time. This show is about an alien named Dax from planet Edenoi who travels to Earth alongside his companion Furbus, who looks like a giant Furby, and he meets a family who are pretty much devoid of personality and acting skills.
Ectophase, activate!
They tried to shove Kamen Rider and a family sitcom together, and it just doesn't work. An unfortunate blemish to the legacy of Kamen Rider in the West. 1998 saw the release of a Kamen Rider game on a brand new cutting-edge system, the PlayStation, allowing fans to experience the original Kamen Rider series all over again. This was a fighting game featuring characters and locations that fans of the original series would be really excited to see. The gameplay was nothing revolutionary here, but this was definitely a noteworthy release in the history of Kamen Rider. 1998 was also a year that would go down as a sad one for Kamen Rider fans, as we lost Shotaro Ishinomori, due to heart failure on January 28, 1998.
Damn.
It was unclear what would come of the Kamen Rider franchise with the loss of its creator and visionary.
Yo, and this is PlayStation 1? This actually does not look that shit. That should look like some PlayStation 2 graphics.
In 2000, Kamen Rider would return inside of the Heisei era with a new hero, a new
Kuga.
legend in Kamen Rider Kuga.
This is one of the ones
was
people wanted me
first
to watch as
series
well.
In 11 years.
And maybe after build.
The main protagonist in
We'll
Kuga is Yusuke Godai, who finds an ancient artifact that allows him to become Kuga in order to battle the Gyorongi, or unidentified life forms. This was the final Kamen Rider season to feature only a single rider, as every season following Kuga would feature multiple riders. Kuga would also feature multiple forms that were different color swaps and featured different weapons. And this was also the first season to air alongside a Super Sentai season on the same network, leading to Superhero Time.
Leading to Superhero Time.
In 2001, Toei released a direct sequel to Kuga titled Kamen Rider Agito, and this show features 4 very different riders. Shoichi becomes Agito, a magic-based rider whose name is Latin for move or keep moving. Makoto becomes G3, a mechanical and technology-based rider who's based off of Kuga and actually puts his suit on. Ryo is Gills, a biological rider whose armor actually grows from his body.
Whoa!
And Kaoru is the incredibly cool Another Agito. This was the final Kamen Rider season to feature the Ishinomori-style belt design. Also in 2001, the Ishinomori Manga Museum, named after Shotaro Ishinomori, opened in Ishinomaki, Miyagi Prefecture, Japan, to showcase some of the most culturally significant manga in history and to educate people on an art form that Shotaro Ishinomori himself loved so much. Even though Shotaro was gone, his legacy was well remembered, and the franchise he created was headed in an exciting new direction.
That's good.
2002 brought Kamen Rider Yuki, a very popular season, especially amongst fans that enjoy having a lot of riders.
A lot of riders in this one, Ryuki.
Riders travel to the mirror world via reflective surfaces, and these riders compete in the Rider War,
Ooh,
a
the mirror
winner-take-all
world.
competition where the victor will be granted a single wish.
Oh, that sounds kind of cool. Damn, that one actually sounds kind of cool. The mirror world to compete with other riders, and the winner gets a wish? I like that.
Yuki is known for having a very unique style, and this series has a lot of cool attributes, like being the first season to use cards, and it was also the first season where riders had a device that activates and announces their abilities and attacks. This was also the first season to feature villain riders. It was around this time that the team at Toei started getting more experimental and creative with suit designs, as evidenced by the unique and elaborate helmet designs showcased within Yuki. 2003 was the year of Kamen Rider Phase, a show in which Smart Brain Org is trying to take over the world with
These motherfuckers did not name themselves Smart Brain Org.
Orphanox, who are the next stage of human evolution. They create 3 suits called Rider Gear, which are Phase, Delta, and Kaiza. Our main protagonist in this series is Takumi, who along with his allies would fight against Smart Brain to prevent them from replacing the world with Orphanox.
Hey, G.
Phase brought with it a dark, quality story with excellent acting and explosive action, and 2003 was another great year for Kamen Rider.
Awesome.
2004 saw the release of Kamen Rider Blade, a playing card themed season featuring multiple riders that represented different suits from the card deck. Our main protagonist is Kazuma, who becomes Kamen Rider Blade after being ordered, along with Sakuya, by Board to fight against creatures called Undead.
Undead, holy moly.
This series featured some really cool writers, including Garen, Chalice Liango, and of course Blade himself. The show featured 2 intros, and the second intro looks cool, and you could tell their focus was just on making it look cool for the audience. But the first intro is genuinely hilarious to me, and it's really unique in its weirdness. Kick that napkin. Kick it. This was the first season to have 2 intros since Skyrider.
Okay. So beating the shit out of a napkin, dude.
In 2005, Toei released Kamen Rider Hibiki. This show wasn't even originally designed to be a Kamen Rider series, and in pre-production, many different themes were tossed around, including ninjas and yokai, but when Bandai demanded that the Kamen Rider name be attached to the project in order to sell more toys, the original themes would be dropped, and the character would become an Oni-themed Kamen Rider. By episode 29, chief producer Shigenori Taketera was fired, and this was unofficially attributed to low ratings and low toy sales.
Well, you tried to call it a fucking Kamen Rider when it wasn't.
There was a visible tone shift on the show, and it began to resemble a more traditional Kamen Rider series. Hibiki introduced a lot of unique things into the franchise, including the fact that there are no belts to henshin, and this is the only series with an instrumental theme.
Kamen Rider,
the first.
2005 would continue with Kamen Rider the First. Kamen Rider the First was a modern-day reimagining of Shotaro Ishinomori's classic original series. This movie took some liberties in regards to story, but ultimately serves as a creative and well-made Kamen Rider project that shows a lot of love and respect for the original series. 2006 was an important year for Kamen Rider, as we would be introduced to the very first HD Kamen Rider series in Kamen Rider Kabuto.
Oh, it wasn't in HD before this? Damn.
The series takes place 7 years after a meteorite hit Shibuya. And
actually, it makes sense because things weren't really HD until, like, literally Bleach episodes from 2006. That shit ain't HD.
Shape-shifting creatures known as worms emerged from the disaster. This show added a cast-off feature, giving a unique external layer of armor over the rider's base armor, something completely fresh and new to the franchise. This show is notable for having a lot of unique riders with varied story arcs. The main protagonist is named Soji, and he's very unique within the franchise due to being extremely arrogant most of the time. Amazing, good! Kabuto is also very unique due to its food and culinary focus.
Interesting.
2007 would bring with it an absolute cultural phenomenon within Japan in Kamen Rider Den-O. Ryotaro is a huge wimp until he's possessed by the Taros, because they imbue their own personality unto him and even change his non-henshin look. Ryotaro travels with Hana and the Taros through time on the Den liner to fight against evil Imagins, and they also encounter Kamen Rider Zeronos. Takeru Sato, who plays Ryotaro, claims that the reason for the show's success was the comedic timing. Because the show was so successful, it would lead to a mountain of revenue for Toei and more crossovers than any other Kamen Rider series in history.
Oh, wow.
Following on the heels of Kamen Rider the First, 2007 would continue the anniversary celebration that the first started with the release of Kamen Rider the Next, a reimagining of Kamen Rider V3 with a much darker and more intense tone featuring horror themes. Like the Next, this movie introduced these characters to a new generation and put them in an interesting premise set in the Heisei era. Tsuburaya Productions actually helped with visual effects for this movie, and they are of course known for being the makers of Ultraman.
Oh, this is the vampire one.
2008 was the year that Kamen Rider would take on a campy vampire theme with Kamen Rider Kiba. The tagline for this series was "Wake up, break the chains of destiny." This show takes place across 2 time frames simultaneously, being 1986 and 2008, allowing the audience to experience the cause and effect of certain story beats.
Oh, that's cool.
Our soft-spoken protagonist is
that's
Wataru,
actually pretty interesting.
an introvert who's a human and Fangire hybrid, and this is actually a huge part of the plot, where we would explore Wataru's family history and his place within the hierarchy of the Fangire species. This show introduced some really unique elements to the franchise, featuring Wataru's ghostly allies called the Arms Monsters, who provide Kiva with power-ups and live in a building that turns into a dragon. This show also introduced us to Kibat, a bat that bites Wataru's hand to facilitate his henshin.
Oh.
Although Kiva failed to achieve the same levels of success as Deno, this show introduced fans to some fresh and interesting new things that had never been seen before within the Kamen Rider franchise.
Oh, that looks sick. Fuck, got a big old G on his damn chest. This is a movie?
Going into 2009, no Rider fan knew just how huge it would end up being, with several awesome projects to keep the fanbase happy. One of which was Kamen Rider G, a TV special meant to celebrate the 50th anniversary of TV Asahi, as well as promote Kamen Rider Decade. This special followed Goro, a sommelier who henshins into Kamen Rider G as he takes on the organization Shade. Kamen Rider G is a wine-themed rider who literally uses a wine bottle and corkscrew to henshin, and he even has a sword with a corkscrew attached to it. This special is often overlooked, but it brought the fandom something incredibly unique with a wine-themed rider, and was just one part of what would be a great year for Kamen Rider.
Cool.
Decade.
In 2009, we of course got Kamen Rider Decade, an anniversary season celebrating 10 years.
Oh, by the way, I'm aware that I've been like, oh yeah, Decade. But I'm aware now that like it's specifically pronounced Decade for a reason. It goes with the theme of the show. So I just want you all to know I am aware of that, and from now on I will be referring to it as Decade.
Heisei era. This show had two catchphrases. One is connect everything by destroying everything, and Heisei Rider 10 years early. Although the show only had 31 episodes, it was stuffed full of fan service and was focused primarily on making longtime fans happy.
Oh.
This show exists amongst the larger Riderverse, where our main protagonist named Tsukasa, also known as the Destroyer of Worlds, henshins into Kamen Rider Decade,
the
and he
Destroyer
travels to the universes of other
Worlds.
Heisei era riders as they are converging into one. He can even henshin into other riders from the Heisei era.
Oh, interesting.
Although Decade was a shorter season, the impact of the show was undeniable, as Decade would be featured in many crossover projects over the years.
ようこそ大ショッカーへ。
2009 also brought a huge team-up movie. In Kamen Rider Decade, All Riders vs. Dice Shocker. This project served as the official movie adaptation of Decade that gave the audience some additional context about Tsukasa and featured a team-up of every rider from the history of the franchise up to this point.
Yo, that's dope. That's dope.
In addition to all of the henshin riders throughout history, this movie also featured the nostalgic appearances of Tetsuo Kurata as Kotaro Minami, or Kamen Rider Black, and Toshiki Kashu as Shoichi Sugami, or Kamen Rider Faiz, as well as tons of classic villains from the franchise.
Nice.
When this movie released in theaters, it actually beat Harry Potter in the box office, earning over
In
2
Japan.
billion yen, making it a huge success for Toei commercially and a memorable part of 2009. Also in 2009, Kamen Rider would have another chance at winning over Western fans with a new American adaptation titled Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. Using footage from Kamen Rider Yuki, this show aired on the CW television network during its CW for Kids programming block, but it was ultimately canceled before the final 2 episodes aired on TV.
Kamen Rider.
Oh, damn. Got canceled. Oof.
Producer Aki Komine convinced Toei to let him make a pilot for an American adaptation of Kamen Rider in the same style of Power Rangers, and ultimately Ryuki was chosen for the adaptation due to the large quantity of writers and the fact that Ryuki has a female writer. Despite the show's cancellation, Dragon Knight actually won a Daytime Emmy Award for stunt coordination, and it's remembered mostly positively by the community.
Oh wow, that's good.
There was also a Kamen Rider game released in 2009 that would lead to quite a few sequels and spin-offs, Kamen Rider Climax Heroes on PlayStation 2. This was a Kamen Rider fighting game commemorating 10 years of Heisei era and featuring all of the primary Heisei riders up to this point. This game series has become extremely popular in the fandom, and it was another thing that made 2009 such an awesome year for Kamen Rider, but it wouldn't be the last.
Dang, there's more? Oh, okay, then W, or Double.
Also releasing in 2009, a fresh take on the Kamen Rider formula, Double is a detective show featuring two people that share the same rider body, hence the name Double. The catchphrases for this show were, "We are the 2-in-1 Kamen Rider," and "This clinches it." Kamen Rider Double uses Gaia memory sticks to swap left and right side forms that also provide him with different color combinations. Shotaro is what I like to call a detective's detective. He considers himself hard-boiled, although he gets called half-boiled through a lot of the show, something he's not a huge fan of. He's one stylish dude, and his surname Hidari means left, as he becomes the left side of Double's body. He constantly struggles to live up to his dead mentor's legacy, whose daughter Akiko becomes his landlady, and she has the personality of a young child. Then we have Philip. He's the right side, and he searches for useful information and does a lot of research involving keywords to solve cases. He's definitely not what he seems, and his story has an excellent twist. Kamen Rider Double featured some excellent lead protagonists that are very easy to root for. This show also features Ryu, also known as Axel, who's a cool rider that's based around speed, and he eventually falls in love with Akiko. We also have Museum, one of the most memorable and interesting evil organizations in the history of Toku.
Oh, interesting.
This show has several loving nods.
This is the one that actually won the poll on Patreon. So this is the one that my Patreon community wanted me to watch the most. But the poll on Patreon didn't even have 100 votes. And the poll that I did on YouTube had 8,000 votes. And so I went with the one that won on YouTube, which was Build. Because Build had like 40-something%. And it's similar, but it's kind of crazy because it had similar things, right? So it was like 40-something% Build and then 20-something% W. And then the other two were like lower percentages. That's how it was on Patreon. Patreon was 40-something% Double, 20-something% Build, and then the other ones were lower percentages. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah, this is the one that they actually wanted me to watch. So if I do end up doing a second Kamen Rider series, if I do that, then I will probably choose Double as the next one. But yeah, at the moment, I don't know if I will or will not do more Kamen Rider. I'm currently watching through Kamen Rider. I'm only 8 episodes into Build. So basically, the way that I'm looking at it is like this. If it performs well on Patreon, like I see like a lot of people are interested in it, it gets a lot of like interaction with the community. So like people are commenting and liking it. Otherwise, I don't really have a good idea of how well it's performing, you know? As long as I'm seeing a lot of people comment, like the posts for Kamen Rider Build, I'll know that it's getting a lot of interaction, which means I should continue doing more Kamen Rider stuff. Basically the way that, it's basically the way that I will be able to know whether I should do more. Or if I end up bringing it to YouTube, which again, I don't know if we will because it's kind of dangerous. If I do end up bringing it to YouTube and it performs really well on YouTube and we don't have any issues with copyright, because the moment we start having issues with copyright on YouTube, I got to get rid of all of the Kamen Rider videos on YouTube, or at least the actual series reactions. So just keep that in mind. But anyways, I did start Build today. And hopefully maybe one day we check out Double, because Double also has an anime.
To the creator of Kamen Rider, Shotaro Ishinomori, including Shotaro Hidari having the same name, the green and black color scheme reminiscent of the Showa era, and Kamen Rider Skull, a reference to the Skullman manga that Ishinomori created so many years prior.
Oh, cool!
This was the first Kamen Rider series to use the term Kamen Rider in English letters on the logo and in marketing, because before this it was always Masked Rider. Double will always be remembered as a cool, fresh, and well-written entry into the franchise.
Well written is good. We like well written.
2010 brought us Eiji, also known as Kamen Rider Oz, a nomad with a tragic past who dresses like a hobo and has a not-so-secret obsession with underwear. Eiji encounters Ankh, the arm of a greed, which is a creature made of metals that feed on the desires of humans, played by Yosuke Miura, who also played on a show called Caesar X, and the charisma and the interactions between Eiji and Ankh would be a standout of the season. Our two leads encounter Kogami-san, who assists them by providing various resources and equipment, but clearly he has ulterior motives, and this guy also loves to say Happy Birthday. Kamen Rider Oz also features Kamen Rider Birth, an incredibly unique rider with multiple users, who's themed around capsule toys.
Oh.
One thing that's really unique about Oz is that he's able to mix and match metals to combine different forms, but he becomes really cool and powerful when he combines 3 of the same type, like Tajidor.
Yo!
This show was critically and commercially successful, and Oz would continue the streak of excellent Kamen Rider seasons at the time.
Cool. Yo, when did we hit our first Kamen Rider season? One of the mid ones.
2011 would see the release of a huge team-up movie in Oz, Dino, All Riders, Let's Go Kamen Riders. This movie of course featured Oz and Dino, but it also featured the double riders of the original Kamen Rider series, plus all of the other riders throughout history. Serving as a celebration commemorating the 40th anniversary of the franchise and the 60th anniversary of Toei Company, this movie continued the tradition of fan service and crossovers within the franchise.
Of course.
The fandom was also treated to some nostalgic appearances from other non-Rider Toku characters like Kikaider, Inazuman, and Zubat, and a cool new form from Oz using the Imogen and Shocker medals.
Oh, interesting.
Appropriately, the catchphrase for the movie is "Oh the world, these are Japan's heroes," due to the large amount of legendary heroes featured here, and this movie served as a great showcase of the Kamen Rider franchise to
Holy
new
moly.
fans.
There are so many.
Later on in 2011, we were introduced to one of the most unique and fresh Kamen Rider seasons of all time in Kamen Rider Foze. A 40th anniversary project themed around space and centered around the Kamen Rider Club of Amanogawa High School. Our main protagonist is Gintaro, an eccentric and charismatic new student who recently transferred and is determined to be everyone's friend.
Can this love be translated? No, I'm just kidding.
Yuki is Gintaro's childhood friend, and she is just as
I wonder if they'll be able to
fun
translate their
on
love.
screen
Okay,
as Gintaro, making for an excellent cast that portray their characters with enthusiasm. This season took a lot of risks in regard to theming and style, but it resulted in a very memorable season that was consistently
I'll be honest with you,
and really fun in general.
I do not like this Kamen Rider design. I do not at all. I don't like the way the head's shaped. It really fucks me up.
Also released in 2011 was the game All Kamen Rider Rider Generation for the Nintendo DS system. This was a fun arcade-style beat-em-up game that also received a sequel later. In 2012, the franchise would go in yet another new direction with Wizard, a magic and fantasy-themed Rider season with quite a bit of comedy and charm added on top of the Kamen Rider formula. The main protagonist for this season is named Haruto, and he uses rings of different elements to henshin into Kamen Rider Wizard.
Most people also don't like the helmet for 4s, but the season's still super beloved. Gotcha.
series also featured an incredibly likable secondary hero with a cool suit in the mayonnaise-obsessed Kosuke, also known as Kamen Rider Beast.
Mayonnaise-obsessed. Oh, hell.
This season also features a lot of quirky comedy, mostly delivered by Shunpei. Although this series didn't quite reach the same height as the previous few seasons, Wizard's uniqueness created new possibilities for what could be featured in Kamen Rider.
Oh, cool. Crossover movie again?
2012 also marked the 10th
Holy
anniversary of
shit.
TV Asahi's Superhero Time TV block, and to celebrate, Toei released Kamen Rider and Super Sentai Superhero Taisen, a crossover film featuring the company's two most famous franchises. This movie focuses primarily on Decade, Foze, Oz, Go-Busters, and Go-Kaiger, but the vast majority of riders and rangers throughout history are featured here. In this film, Captain Marvelous leads the Dai Zangyak fleet against all Kamen Riders, while Kamen Rider Decade leads Dai Shocker against all Sentais. This movie brought the stakes and intrigue of a heavyweight fight to the big screen, and a love letter to both Kamen Rider and Super Sentai.
That's a lot of people, dude. That's a lot of fucking people.
2013 would continue the trend of wild and fresh ideas being implemented into the Kamen Rider formula with the much-loved and very unique season, Kamen Rider Gaim. This show features dancing fruit samurai, which might sound childish on surface level, but this show actually has a surprisingly dark tone at times, with a lot of depth and weight to the story.
Damn.
In the universe of Gaim, reality has become almost unbearably hard and depressing for most people, so dance troupes are formed to liven
reality? I'm just kidding.
become almost unbearably hard and depressing for most people, so dance troupes are formed to liven up the community, and one of these troupes is called Gaim. Kota is our main protagonist who becomes Kamen Rider Gaim, and he displays a charisma and relatability that makes it very easy to root for him. This show was another treat for fans of Rider vs. Rider battles and infighting. And Gaim is generally remembered very fondly by most of the community, and it would be impossible to tell the story of Kamen Rider without Gaim.
Oh, damn. Highly touted. And then another?
2013 would also deliver another fun-filled and action-packed team-up movie in Kamen Rider and Super Sentai and Space Sheriff Superhero Taisen Zeto. This was a sequel to the Superhero Taisen movie with the new addition of the Metal Heroes franchise.
It continued the Taisen name. What the hell?
This movie features heroes from the three major Toei franchises on screen together to fight against the emerging Space Shocker in a thrilling and nostalgic celebration of Kamen Rider and all of Toei.
Space Shocker. Batch Ride
In
War?
2013, Toei and Bandai Namco released a game titled Kamen Rider Bat Ride War for the PlayStation 3. This game is considered a hack and slash style game and features every Heisei rider up until Wizard. This game lets you take on large groups of enemies at a time during battle scenarios designed to make you feel like a powerful Kamen Rider. The success of this game would lead to several sequels over the years.
Then we got Drive. Okay.
2014 would see the release of Kamen Rider Drive, a car and police-focused season. Shinsuke is an officer that was demoted into the Special Investigation Division, where he investigates slowdown and fight against the Roid Mutes. He henshins into Kamen Rider Drive using Belto-san and drives around in a stylish red car. Takahito Omori, one of the producers of the show, called it a tribute to Knight Rider, a car-focused show from the 1980s.
I can see that. Yeah, that makes sense. A tribute to Knight Rider.
The theme song for this season is sung by Mitsuru Matsuoka, who also played Kamen Rider Eternal in Double. Drive was a well-written and much-liked season that added to the Kamen Rider legacy in a positive way and kept the fandom entertained in 2014.
Yo, they keep on saying, he keeps on saying this. Oh, this thing was beloved. It's liked. Is there one coming up that people are like, oh, this shit sucks?
2015 was a bit of a slow year for Kamen Rider, with the only project of note being Kamen Rider Ghost. This series used themes revolving around the afterlife as our main protagonist Takeru searches for the icons that will prevent his permanent death. The suit designs of the season feature bold colors, elaborate helmet ornamentation, and hoodies, a look that I appreciate even today.
I like the hoodies. The hoodies are dope. Oh. Well, he didn't say that one was good, so... He said, I appreciate it.
2016 saw the introduction of one of the most bold, colorful, and fun rider series of all time in Kamen Rider Ex-Aid. Celebrating the 45th anniversary of
Ghost
Kamen
is the
Rider,
one people hate.
This is a show that takes place mostly in a hospital and focuses on a group of gaming doctors that battle against the Bugsters. This cast is loaded with charm and personality, especially our main protagonist, Emu.
I'm a Kamen Rider.
The suits have a really unique anime look, and almost everything has a look that you could perhaps best describe as being part anime and part retro gaming. It might sound like a strange combination, but it works really well, and the aesthetic of Ex-Aid makes the show an incredibly memorable entry into the franchise.
Very memorable. Dang. He didn't say that one was good, though. He didn't say that one was good. Oof. One thing that just always throws me off with Ex-Aid is the eyes. I know you've seen me mention it a million times. I always mention it. Not a fan of the eyes. What the hell?
In 2016, the Kamen Rider fandom was also treated to a new Rider series for adults called Amazons, based on the classic Kamen Rider Amazon and streaming on Amazon Prime Video. This show featured a distinctively more violent style compared with the mainline series, something that this show shares with the original. In fact, there's a lot of things from this show that I just can't show you on YouTube, because if I did, Kane Janai. This show featured only 12 episodes, but would get renewed for a second season. This series brought new attention to the classic Kamen Rider Amazon series, as well as attention to the Kamen Rider franchise as a whole,
due
to how prevalent Amazon Prime Video is throughout the world.
And there's the one I'm watching. Build.
2017 saw the debut of a cool new science and math themed rider in Kamen Rider Build.
All right, I'm going to skip this because I don't want to get spoiled. Okay? Just so you're all aware, I'm going to skip this so I don't get spoiled. Is this the next one? I hope so.
2018 brought us the final season of the
Is Zio the next one? Okay.
Heisei era and the first anniversary season since Decade 10 years prior in Kamen Rider Gyo. This year's show is themed around time and time travel. Our main protagonist Sogo is destined to become Oma King Gyo, a ruthless tyrant of the future. To prevent this, Gaze
I forgot to say, I am watching Build on Patreon for those of you that are interested, so go and check out my reactions on Patreon. If you're interested. On Saturdays, we're going to be posting new videos. I'm watching 4 episodes at a time, okay?
Back in time to kill Gyo, but a woman named Tsukuyomi has also gone back to protect Sogo. As this is an anniversary season, we're treated to a lot of throwback riders and various crossovers that longtime fans will appreciate, including grotesque versions of the riders that oppose our heroes. Gyo was a love letter of a season written to the Kamen Rider franchise as a whole.
Oh. And then?
Before the Heisei era officially came to a close, Toei released Heisei Generations Forever, a huge celebration of the entire Heisei era meant to appeal to fans both young and old. This movie is stuffed with fan service related to every one of the Heisei riders, and they each get a healthy amount of time to shine. The entirety of the Heisei era leads up to this point in a triumphant and thrilling climax, and this project marks the final rider project before the next era. 2019 brought with it the Reiwa era in Kamen Rider 01. This show follows Aruto Hiden, who is a comedian that inherits a company called Hidden Intelligence from his grandfather.
Hidden Intelligence
makes human gears.
Yo, why is he saying it like that? Hidden Intelligence.
called Hidden Intelligence from his grandfather. Hidden Intelligence makes Humagears, which are AI-powered robots that resemble—
Oh, it's hidden. It's not hidden. Hidden intelligence. So it's supposed to be hidden intelligence, but it's like it's not. You know what I mean? Hidden is the surname. Oh, okay.
humans.
That's crazy because y'all literally just said, I thought Hayden. Next person, Hayden.
Eventually, Aruto encounters MetsubouJinrai.net, who are rogue Humagears led by Kamen Rider Horobi, and they intend to bring about the extinction of humans by hacking and corrupting other Humagears.
私は技術顧問の刃優愛。そして捜査官の
不破勇だ。
This show features Yaiba and Fua from the organization AIMS.
Yo, she
also
mad
known
close
as
to his
Kamen Riders
face.
Valkyrie and
Y'all about to
Vulcan, and
kiss?
their goals aren't always the same as Aruto's or even each other's, leading to a really interesting story with explosive conflict.
Ooh, interesting.
The sky turns to a rider kick.
This show asks if AI is a good or bad thing, a question
Oh,
that's
wow.
increasingly more relevant in today's
Yeah.
world, and we would come to discover that there isn't necessarily a clear black and white answer to this.
True. I mean, that's literally the truth of AI right now. Is it good? Is it bad? Well, there's no clear answer.
01 featured a collection of amazingly detailed and dynamic-looking suit designs, as well as action that I consider very anime-like in general. This is
Ooh,
a
good.
season that's a treat for the eyes. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, the production of this series was cut short toward the end, resulting in a rushed final act of 01 and a change in tone for the next franchise entry.
Oh, damn.
In 2020, after the pandemic, with 01's production being cut short and most people staying at home, it was decided that the next Kamen Rider season would have a warmer and more lighthearted tone. This resulted in 2020's Kamen Rider Saber, a fun and whimsical take on
After the pandemic.
the Kamen Rider formula that features
2020
a more
after the
lighthearted tone
pandemic?
and even an outro dance number, which was a first of the franchise. Our main protagonist is a novelist named Toma, who was quite possibly the most
Or
stylish
they maybe they mean after the start of.
writer since Shotaro Hidari of Kamen Rider Double.
Shit, Dungeons and Dragons.
2020 was a year where the fans needed some lighthearted fun in their life, and Saber delivered on that.
これが仮面ライダーの本当の力。
New game.
In 2020, we were also treated to a brand new Kamen Rider game for PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch called Kamen Rider Memory of Heroes. This game features 01 teaming up with Double and O's in an original new Kamen Rider adventure that allowed fans to henshin, fight bosses, and switch between the awesome forms that these riders possess. Players could acquire new abilities from the enemies they defeat as well as upgrade their stats. Despite the pandemic, Kamen Rider was alive and well in 2020. Going into early 2021, we got Saber and Zenkaiger Superhero Senki, a crossover movie project between Saber and Zenkaiger to celebrate Kamen Rider's 50th anniversary and Super Sentai's 45th anniversary. The catchphrase for this movie is straightforward heroes half of the century.
Wait, is this just a fucking a statue? Look. It didn't move. Is it just a statue?
During the events of the movie, riders end up in the Zenkai world, and the Zenkaigers, other than Jiran, end up in the Saber world, and eventually they team up together as you would expect. This movie served as an excellent anniversary celebration for fans of both franchises. Also in 2021,
All right,
we got
Revice.
Kamen Rider Revice. Serving as the 50th anniversary project of the franchise, Revice is a story about
anniversary,
Ikki and his inner demon, Vice, who are tandem riders that become Kamen Rider Revice. Ikki's family runs a bathhouse together, and his siblings also become riders as they use V-stamps to henshin and fight against the Deadmans. Revice brought a new style and vibe into the franchise, as well as some unique color choices for the riders, and the unique aspects of the show make it memorable within the history of Kamen Rider.
Fight!
2022 brought with it an absolute banger of a Kamen Rider season in Kamen Rider Geats. This series
people wanted me to watch this one too, but it did not even get close to double
from the future
build.
called the Desire Grand Prix. The winner of this battle royale will have their deepest desire granted to them, so the stakes are really high and the conflict is really interesting. Our main protagonist is Ace Yukio, who is the definition of being cool. We also have the famous social media star Neon, also known as Nago, who has a really great story arc and she's very easy to root for. And then we have Keiwa, a happy-go-lucky character that goes through an intense story arc that turns him into a vengeful force of nature. This entry into the Kamen Rider franchise featured a great story, a great cast, and superb action scenes. Geats was so successful that it even received a Blu-ray release in America.
Whoa.
2022 also gave us the reimagining of the legendary Kamen Rider Black story with Black Sun on Prime Video. A much more violent and politically charged take on the classic series that took its own liberties with the source material. This series celebrates the 35th anniversary of Kamen Rider
Own
Black,
liberties with the source
serving
material?
as an example of just how iconic and legendary that series was. And did I mention it's really bloody? There's a lot from this show that I can't even show you on YouTube.
And then the anime!
2022 also
double
gave us
anime.
the direct anime sequel to Kamen Rider Double in Futo Pi. This series follows Shotaro and Philip as they solve crimes and do Kamen Rider things in a post-museum world. Double is extremely popular, and the success of Futo Pi raises hopes that maybe someday the fandom will be treated to anime adaptations of more Kamen Rider series. And this show is even getting a film release this coming November.
Wow. You got the movie last year? Cool.
In 2022, we also got the O's 10th anniversary movie, the 10th Core Medal of Fate, in which Eiji's story would come to an end, and many fans were quite unhappy about how it ended.
Oh.
I've had people tell me in the comments that in Japan people were crying in the theaters. Regardless of how you feel, this was a historically significant Kamen Rider project.
Damn, y'all are not a fan of that movie, huh? Damn. All right, Chad,
2023 brought us Kamen Rider Gotchard, a lighthearted and fun Rider season focusing on Hotaro Ichinose, also known as Kamen Rider Gotchard. This series brought with it a new alchemy theme and a return to cards being used by the riders, in addition to fun creatures called Kemis. This story explores the lives of Hotaro and his friend Rin Kudo as they seek to capture the keys. After some more serious projects, Gotchard was a season that had a few shortcomings in terms of story beats and character development, but historically the franchise tends to ebb and flow between lighthearted kid-friendly seasons and darker seasons with more mature stories. Gotchard leans more towards being a kid-friendly season, like I just described, but this isn't necessarily a bad thing, and some fans might even view it as a positive.
I watched this movie.
2023 also gave us the incredibly stylish love letter to the original Kamen Rider series in the form of Shin Kamen Rider.
This one I watched over on Patreon already. I will say, if you have never watched a Kamen Rider series, like I enjoyed the movie to an extent, but if you have never seen a Kamen Rider series, watching this for the first time, it is so fast. Everything happens. There's literally not a moment to breathe. There's like, I actually have to pause watching it. There's like a lot. It just goes. It's boring when you first watched it. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if there's a moment to be bored. It just literally keeps going. Like, it's so quick. And I can imagine that the main reason why it's so fast is because it's kind of adapting all of that first season into a movie. You know what I mean? So I'm understanding of that. But because I didn't watch the first season and everything, because I literally had not watched a single Kamen Rider series before watching this movie, it's just, the pace of it is like almost unbearable. It is like so fast. I did enjoy it though. I think it like very well displayed a combination of Kamen Rider and the director's directorial style. You know what I mean?
Another reimagining
I
to
liked it, though.
celebrate the franchise's 50th anniversary. This movie set out to take everything that made the original series great and dial it up to 11. The look, tone, style, and music are all faithfully recreated here, with a new layer of flair and high production values that only time and a large budget can provide. This movie tells a story that's a combination of several story beats from throughout the original series, and these elements are all stitched together in a really entertaining way. It's obvious that the people involved in making this movie had a ton of love for the franchise, and they put their hearts into making it.
Yeah. I could tell as well.
And now, in 2020,
The movie also expects you to have some semblance of writer knowledge when you get into it. Oh, yeah. That's what I mean. Because, like, you have to have, you got to know about Kamen Rider in order to actually, you know what I mean? And, like, as much as I guess, quote unquote, know about Kamen Rider just from watching videos and stuff like this, I haven't seen a series. And so I think that really takes away from my knowledge. It really, like, shows my lack of knowledge. Anyways, Gav.
At the time of making this video, we finally have a look at the next writer coming up in Kamen Rider Gavv.
Oh, he made this thing
whose
a while
catchphrase
ago.
is "Sweets and evil, I'll eat them up." He has a unique purple, blue, and yellow color scheme, along with some other cool.
Oh, so this is
forms.
before
And if
it
history
even
is any
released.
indicator, this will be another big year for Kamen Rider. For 50 years, the Kamen Rider franchise has given us some amazing characters, interesting stories, jaw-dropping action, and heart-wrenching drama. We've seen hundreds of riders fight for what they believe in or who they care about, tons of evil organizations be brought to justice, and we've been lucky enough to enjoy this amazingly weird and wonderful world of triumph called Kamen Rider.
Kamen Rider.
Thanks for taking a trip with me through the history of this awesome franchise.
You're welcome.
I'd love to hear what your favorite Kamen Rider moment is in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it a lot if you would smack the shit out of that like button.
Make sure you guys go and check out the video yourself, like his video, and, you know, subscribe to his channel. He makes a lot of Kamen Rider and just kind of Toku stuff. So go show some love over there. Good video. Gave me a good breakdown on all the stuff. I did skip build because I ain't trying to get spoiled. I didn't want to get spoiled. But yeah, I enjoyed it, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good video. Really introduced a lot of elements to me. You know, gave me a good look at the history, you know, where it all began and like the steps along the way, all the projects along the way. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good, you know. Right now, again, like I said, I'm watching Build over on Patreon, and maybe we'll bring it to YouTube, you know, sometime next month. Maybe we'll give it a shot. I don't know. It's still something I have to really consider because, again, copyright stuff, it's kind of dangerous. Anyways, if you want to check out my build reactions, that's over on Patreon. We're dropping new ones every Saturday. Again, 4 episodes at a time. You can check that out if you're interested. If you want to keep on waiting and then see if maybe I bring it over to YouTube, by all means, keep on waiting. And then hopefully we can bring it to YouTube. It's just a matter of a couple of things. You know, 1, do I feel it's safe enough? 2, am I willing to risk it? That's pretty much it. Anyways, let me know your thoughts down in the comments on this video, and that's pretty much it. Subscribe if you enjoyed my reaction. I'll keep on doing Kamen Rider content, Kamen Rider related reactions, and I hope you stick around. Till next time, make sure you all keep it fresh. Peace.